Setting a password a nie bastanie.
Setting a password is a daunting experience. How many of you have set a password? Just raise your hand. Everybody, right? Remember the good old days? 2001. Back when we all had Hotmail and AOL accounts. Those were the good old days. We had one account and one simple password. And today we have a plethora of accounts because our entire lives are online. Each one of our accounts has its own unique complex password. Each one has a list of security questions. Each one has two-factor authentication. And it keeps getting worse. My passwords these days are so complex that by the time I have to retype it in the confirm your password bar, I've already forgotten it. What did I just type? What did I just type right now? It's almost as though 20 years ago, we all had one simple house with a simple key. And today, we have an array of apartments all across town. Each one of them has 5 locks. Each one of them has a comprehensive security system. Each one of them has 2 bulldogs in front and an electric door just in case everything else fails. And we've all seen this transition within our lifetimes. It's all still very much fresh in memory. I still remember my first experience with the password strength bar. How many of you have encountered the password strength bar? It is a miserable thing. First time I ever saw the password strength bar, wanted to reset my password, and I go to the page, and I see that there's a password strength bar, and I thought, oh, here's a new feature, how cute. And little did I know how judgmental this password strength bar was going to be. My first attempt at a password, it says weak. I took it personally. I got hurt. Oh, weak. I went for a walk. I had a pep talk with myself. Come back. All right, you want a strong password? Crack my neck, crack my knuckles. I'll give you a strong password. Attempt number 2 at a strong password. Suddenly it goes from a red to a yellow. That's instant gratification right there. But why stop here? I could go all the way. It's incredible how when you're at that reset page, you can pick the most complicated password. You know you're going to curse yourself later on. But at that point, all that matters is for that bar to go all the way to agree. And it's interesting, when we start to get comfortable with a password, we think, all right, why let this password go to waste by using it just at one site? I'll use it everywhere. In an attempt to simplify our lives, we decide to reuse our password. But we can't do that. Every site has its own requirement. One site says that you need to have a minimum of 10 characters. Then another site says that you need to have a maximum of 10 characters. Another site says that you need to have 5 prime numbers in your password. You need to be able to say your password backwards while doing a handstand. Just can't win. And so even when you want to be lazy and you want to reuse your password, you realize that it actually takes a hell of an effort just to do that. Okay, so now you have 20 different variations and it's login time. So which password are you going to use? Chances are you've had to reset your password at some time because you forget. You arrive at the page and you go immediately to forget your password. I'll tell you about my worst password reset experience. I go to forget your password and I stumble through a series of security questions. Somehow I managed to fulfill all of them. And now it says, we're going to send you an email with the reset link. And I look at that email. I've forgotten the password to that email. Now I need to retrieve my email's password so that I can reset the current password that I'm trying to reset. So somehow, by a miracle, I managed to get inside of my email, and I click on the link. And now it takes me to a page with a click and it says, I am not a robot. Of course I'm not a robot. Robots don't forget their passwords. The very fact that I am there means that I'm human. They don't see it that way. This is why people choose simple passwords, to not have to go through this process. And so we pick a simple password like password. Except we replace the S's with a $sign, and we replace the O's with a 0, and here we are thinking that we just outsmarted the system. I am brilliant for thinking about this. Nobody else will ever think about doing it this way. Another common trend is that people name their passwords after their kids. People, don't name your passwords after your kids. Select a good, strong password that nobody can guess. And then name your kids after your password. Still, it seems that no matter how much effort we put into this, every few months there's another news bit out that all of our data and passwords have been stolen. All of that effort for nothing. Companies spend on the order of billions of dollars to combat these kind of things, for cybersecurity, for damage recovery. Now, you and I, as ordinary citizens, we don't have those kind of resources. We don't have $1 billion in our pocket. So my damage recovery plan is to not pick an embarrassing password. At some point, that password will be leaked, and although I can recover from financial losses, I may not be able to recover from damage to my reputation from an embarrassing password. Disclaimer, do not name your kids after your passwords. If audience gets hacked, speaker will not be held liable. Thank you.